Today's topic is subtracting integers, and we have a rule that we're going to use. Basically, the rule says if you have a problem where you have the first number minus the second number, that's equal to the first number plus the opposite of the second number. Now let's see how this works. What we're going to do, we have negative 5 minus 12. Our first number is negative 5. You're going to change your minus sign to addition. And you take the opposite of the second number. The second number is 12, so now it becomes negative 12. And I'm putting parentheses around this, by the way, so my negative doesn't run into my plus sign, because if I'm not careful, I could write it like this. And you're saying, wait a minute, is that a plus or is that a negative? And you don't want to do that. So if you put parentheses around it, the symbols are not running into each other. Well, now we have a problem like what we did on the last lesson. Negative 5 plus negative 12, you add the absolute values. So we add 5 and 12, we get 17, and attach the common sign of negative. So again, what we did, we kept the first number. So you keep the first number, change your minus to addition, and change the sign on your second number. So let's try that. We keep our first number, so we keep the negative 8. We change the minus to plus, and you change the sign on the next number. So the opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. Negative 8 plus 6, if it's 8 below 0 and it gets 6 degrees warmer, it's negative 2. All right, let's try it again. Actually, this particular problem, 12 minus 8, you know how to do that. Just go ahead and do this like you normally would. 12 minus 8 gives you 4. You don't have to get fancy on something that's really familiar to you. Next one. Keep your first number. Keep the 17. The minus becomes a plus. Change the sign on the second number so it becomes positive 2. 17 plus 2 gives you 19. Let's try the next one. Again, always keep your first number, so keep the negative 7, change your minus to plus, and then take the opposite of the second number. The opposite of negative 13 is positive 13. Think of it this way. If the temperature is 7 below 0, it gets 13 degrees warmer. What is the temperature? It's going to be 6 above, or positive 6. Let's go on to the next page. Now, here we have several numbers that we're adding and subtracting. We're just going to take them 2 at a time and work from left to right. Remember, you do addition and subtraction from left to right. So let's start with negative 12 minus 8. It's a subtraction problem. So you keep the first number of negative 12, the minus changes to plus, and change the sign on the second number. Negative 12 plus negative 8. Add the signs are the same, so add the absolute values. You get 20, but attach the common sign. So you have negative 20. Bring down the rest of the problem. So you have negative 20 plus negative 3. If the signs are the same, just go ahead and add the absolute values and then attach the common sign. So we get negative 23. Let's go ahead and try the next one. Again, 2 at a time, go left to right. Negative 8 minus 4. Now, just to give you a little extra idea on how to do these, if you don't like the idea of changing your minus sign to a positive and changing the sign on the second number, think of it in terms of temperatures again. Let's try that. Negative 8 minus 4. If it's 8 below 0 and it gets 4 degrees colder, it's 12 below. It's negative 12. Now let's bring down the rest of the problem. Now here's another little hint. I'm just going to show you a couple little things to do on this problem if you don't like changing the subtraction to addition and changing the sign of the second number. If you have a negative and a minus sign together, or two negatives like this together they make a positive. So you could rewrite that as negative 12 plus 16. You get the same thing by keeping that first number, changing the minus to addition, and then changing the sign of the second number. If it's 12 below 0 and it gets 16 degrees warmer, the temperature's 4 above. And now, and I forgot to copy down the negative sign, so I'm just going to do that right now here. There you go. So 4 plus negative 9, that gives you negative 5. Let's go ahead and try the next one. Again, let's go left to right. Negative 13 plus 7. Negative 13 plus 7 gives you negative 6. Bring down the rest of the problem. So we have minus negative 2 plus 5. So again, subtraction. If you want to think of this as our subtraction rule, keep your first number, keep negative 6, minus becomes plus, negative 2, change the sign, it becomes positive 2. Negative 6 plus 2 gives you negative 4. Now bring down the last part of the problem. Negative 4 plus 5 gives you 1. Positive 1. Last problem here. 7 minus negative 10 plus negative 13 minus 4. Okay. Keep your first number. If you have a subtraction problem, keep the first number, change the minus to plus, negative 10, you change the sign on that, it becomes positive 10. 7 plus 10 gives you 17. Bring down the rest of the problem. Take the next two figures to add together. 17 plus negative 13 gives you 4. Bring down the rest of the problem. 4 minus 4 we know is 0. Okay, so that's it for today. And just remember, it takes a little extra practice, and that's what we're going to be doing in class. So if you're not quite sure on some of these problems, don't worry about it. We're going to be practicing and working with you there. Thank you very much for joining me.